Hey friends, it's Miss Katie from Heritage Ways. Thanks for joining me today. I want to make a quick video. It's long overdue. I've had a lot of requests for this, and honestly I've dragged my feet about making the video because I didn't know exactly what to say that would encourage you. But I want to talk for just a few minutes about teaching elementary math at home in your homeschool. I want to jump right in and I want to tell you, first of all, you might want to refer for the high school level to our video I made about teaching math in the high school, how we specifically did it. And remember, I've told y'all this before, there are as many ways to home educate as there are families. So this is just what we have done. So please talk to a lot of people before you decide what to do. Do your research. Talk to humans as well as getting on the internet, but you know, real people are going to give you a lot of good advice. But don't be overwhelmed with it. And you know what? Don't make it overcomplicated. So that's my first tip, is to talk to a lot of families, homeschool parents. Number two, don't make it overcomplicated. Don't overcomplicate. And number three, don't replicate school at home. Don't replicate. You're trying to do your own thing. You removed your children from the public or private school system for a reason. Why try to replicate that? So something about it didn't work for you, so why try to replicate what didn't work? So talking about not overcomplicating. Basically, this is in two sections. So the first thing I want to show you is that you can use anything. You can teach for free if you do the legwork, if you receive or free or little money, I should say it like that. If you receive things from people, hand-me-downs, giveaway curriculum, you can get workbooks and things like that at Goodwill and other places, even the Dollar Tree or those type of places. So let me just show you a few things of what I'm talking about. All right, these are some things that were given to us in a big box of things. Remember, we've been homeschooling, I've lost track, I think we're on our 16th year, coming into our 16th year. So we've got 6 children aged 7 to almost 26, and the first 3 have graduated, and the youngest 3 are elementary ages. Just to tell you a little bit about us if you don't know that. These are just some workbooks that were given to us for free. And this is almost like a vintage workbook, but you can make copies and you could keep the original and just let your children use the copies, or you could use the workbooks. So just random workbooks. This is something I picked up at Goodwill, but I think originally it was sold at Target, and just these type of workbooks. And when I recommend this, I'm recommending this for those of you who want to get started with really younger children. What we might even call pre-K or K, or what the public school world would call pre-K or K or first grade and so forth. So these type of things. Here's another one. Just workbooks that were given to me for free. So you could use that. You could decide. What I would recommend is decide what you want your child to learn at each year. If you're not using a curriculum that's already made for you, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But really, it can be as simple as, what do I want my child to learn this year? And there are probably websites or Pinterest pins that can help you with that. All right, this is another one that I got at one of the dollar type places. I don't remember, Five Below or something like that. And it's just clocks, learning how to tell time with this workbook. It says ages 5, 6, and 7, and most of this is already completed, a good part of it. My youngest, little music man, he stopped because he had already learned to tell time, and I didn't force him to go on. He's got a watch, an analog, not a digital. That's important. You need an analog with the face on it, the numbers, not the digital watch. Digital's not going to teach him how to tell time. So that watch helped him. This I think I got this at Goodwill. This is an old math book, and 1935. And honestly, you could use this if you have to know your teaching style and your children's learning style. And there are books that help you with that. I'm sure there are probably websites now, but I used some really good books to help me with that. And as you go along, you'll know what your learning style and what's not. But yeah, so this is just another book that can be used if I wanted to. Again, this came to us for free. Now, I used this Saxon Math when I taught public school, and I absolutely hated it. But the reason I didn't like it is because I'm just not a math brain. I don't have a math brain, and this is for someone who has more of a math or scientific brain than I do. It works for many people, and I don't know if the schools still use it now, but they did when I taught school. But again, this is the teacher's edition, the homeschool teacher's edition, math, third grade level, that was given to us. And then they gave us this it's workbook that's never been written in, and this is part 2. So they finished part 1, the person did, and they gave us this. So I could use these items as supplementation, or you can come up with your own math program using things that you find. It does take a lot, more thought process and more work. You got to acquire the things and decide how to use them. But don't make it overcomplicated. I think that's what I've done so many times. Y'all, I have made things overcomplicated and then I just don't do them. Unfortunately, sometimes I'm an all or nothing, and if I can't do it perfectly, I don't do it, and that is not good. That's a bad habit, a bad trait, so that's something I need to work on. But I'm encouraging you. You can take whatever that is given to you, or even if it's part of a notebook, or you can download things for free off of internet or websites. And there are also programs you can use. We have used Time for Learning. That's the numeral 4. So time, the number 4, learning.com. We have used that, but it does cost. It's a good program, but it does cost money, so we quit using that for that reason. There is starfall.com, and I didn't check before I started this video, but I don't know if they still have the free app, but they had a math app for free and a reading app. And I'm just going to tell you a secret right here. Our youngest son, he just turned 7, and I guess we don't go by grades. I always have to ask the children what grades they're in, because they go to their Sunday school classes according to grades, and I honestly forget. But little Music Man's going into, I think, what they call the first grade. And honestly, y'all, I'm not embarrassed about this. This is how it's happened. I have not taught him a lot of what he knows. He can tell time, and I have not taught him. He can tie his shoes, and I have not taught him. He can read, and I have not taught him. He can do all sorts of things that I have not taught him. So how does he know? Well, he's learned from his older siblings. They've taught him. They've modeled it for him. He has done these workbooks. When I say I have not taught him, I have not sat down and gone, okay, now this is how we tell time. I've just put manipulatives in front of him, and I've packed them up and given them away. I wish I'd taken a picture before I did that so I could show you. But we have used the Melissa and Doug, I think, is a company that has some manipulatives. Laurie, Laurie, I think, is a company that has, I've put tons of manipulatives in front of him. Math-oriented type manipulatives for a young learner. And that has helped. That has taught him. I have taught him the least of all the children so far, at that age level, and he knows so much. So don't underestimate just everyday life and cooking and measuring and cutting the pizza and talking about the 6 pieces. Learn, school. Life is learning, y'all. Life is learning. Life is school, and school is life. And just walking everyday life, I do that a lot. I will drive down the road and I'll see something interesting and I'll talk to them about it. Or I will recall something that I know they could learn from, and just talking to them, teaching them along the way. That's what Scripture in Deuteronomy tells us. So yeah, that's one reason that he knows a lot of what he knows. Now, on to the second part, and we'll wrap this up. But I've already talked about this company in the high school math video. Teaching textbooks. here's the 4th grade level. And then I've got the 5th grade. There's the CDs, the answer booklet, and the workbook that we choose to not write in. If we use the workbook, they'll write the answers on the paper. But these CDs, it's interactive on the computer, and they put the answers in on the computer. So a workbook is not required unless you want your child to do that. Whoops. I'll get those later. Okay. And then there's the 6th grade and the 7th grade. So I did check their website this morning, and they have the 3rd grade level out. So they have from 3rd grade to all the high school levels, because they started at the high school and started making them going downward in levels. So they're at the 3rd grade now, and it's an online program, so you don't have to have any CDs or books. So that's good, but I'm not going to start to tell you everything they have because I'm sure I'll mess it up. But go to teachingtextbooks.com. We appreciate it. That's what we're going to use on the road. It would be nice to have all these freebie workbooks, but that's going to take up space. We're going to be using teaching textbooks. So far, we have used these and something I didn't pull out of my tub, but the Abeka. We have used for the first, since teaching textbooks 2 and 3 were not out yet, a year or 2 ago, we've been using Abeka workbooks from the Abeka company. And, that works just fine too. But you have the workbooks that are big and thick. Now, some children prefer the workbooks, paper, and that's fine. My John boy's a little bit more like that. But he's also looking forward to using the discs on a computer too. So that's how we're going to work that on the road. Little Music Man, they don't have his level of teaching textbooks, so we'll just do these workbooks, and I'm not stressing about it. That's one thing I learned. I've graduated 3 of my oldest children, or 3 of our children, and did I fail in many ways? Yes. Did I mess up? Yes. Were there things they weren't taught? Yes, absolutely, 100%, and I know it. Did they come to me and say, Mom, I wish you taught this, or I wish you'd done this a certain way? Yes, absolutely, and that's fine. I take that information, they give me that wisdom, and I just try to, take that in and learn from that as I'm teaching the littles. So, you're going to mess up. You're going to mess up. You're going to not teach them everything they need to know. But you know what? When I taught public school, y'all, at the end of every school year, we had not gotten through all of the science book or all of the math book or all of the social studies book. So what they won't tell you is you actually don't learn everything you need to know in a public or private school either. Now, right now, I've been away from that sector for a while. I got out. One reason I got out is because the over-testing, but that was 16 years ago, and I hear it's worse now. I hear now most of the parents and students and even teachers saying this is driving me crazy because all they're doing is trying to teach children how to take tests. That's what school's about nowadays. Well, don't get me started. I could go on and on, but I'm just saying, don't replicate school at home. Don't overcomplicate. It's okay. And it's okay if you don't do math for 2 weeks. Give yourself some grace, folks. Talk through life. Talk it out. Talk about measuring, even if you're just pouring a glass of tea. Find out, okay, teach your child, get a canning jar and teach your child the difference in 8 ounces and 16 ounces and a quart and a pint and a gallon and half a gallon. Just do that. That's what we do now. My teaching style has changed so much. And are my littles going to know everything they need to know? No, absolutely not. What does that even mean? Really, what does that even mean? Need to know. Who says? My 3 oldest children, whom I didn't teach everything there was to know. And yes, I was sad about that because it's fun to learn. It's fun to learn alongside your children. But they are fully functioning adults and contribute greatly to society. And I'll tell you this right now. This is another rant, but Mr. Patient and I, don't get us started, because when academia is pushed to the point that a person does not have common sense or social graces or the ability to converse or to be socialized, Socialize means get along with all age people, not just people that are your age sitting in a classroom. Academia can do, don't get me wrong, but academia can do a great deal of harm to a person. It can turn them into a robot who doesn't love people or want to build community or share life, or as Christians, reflect Jesus. Don't get overly bogged down. If y'all are an academic family and that's just what you love, please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying don't study and learn and gain knowledge, because that scripture tells us to do that. But here I said I was going to make a short video. But y'all, please, I know some human beings that are academic robots. They have a hard time functioning in society, or frying an egg, or knowing the capital of their state, oddly enough. Please, love your children, listen to your children, grow and learn with your children, go on field trips, use flashcards, games, manipulatives. Figure out how your child learns, how you like to learn, how you like to teach. Use freebie stuff. We recommend teaching textbooks. That's what we use. Guys, I better stop or I'm going to keep ranting all day long. I hope that you will please subscribe to our channel. We're so excited that we've got some new subscribers and friends, followers to our channel. And I just hope that the Lord will bless your family. I know He will if you will seek Him and seek to do His will and walk in His ways. So God bless y'all. And from the Heritage Ways family, this is Miss Katie. Have a great day, y'all.